In 1996, President Trump filed a lawsuit against the city of Palm Beach for discriminating against his Mar-a-Lago club because his club allowed Jews and blacks. Still think he's racist? Lynn Patton, a black female executive for the Trump Organization, released a statement in 2016 defending her boss against accusation that he's a racist and a bigot. She tearfully revealed how she struggled with substance abuse and addiction for years. Instead of kicking her to the curb, she said the Trump Organization and his entire family loyally stood by her through immensely difficult times. In 2008, American Idol superstar Jennifer Hudson's family members were tragically murdered in Chicago. When President Trump found out about this, he reached out to her and told her that he will put her up in his Trump Tower hotel and cover all the costs. And not only did he do that, he actually provided extra security for her and her family during this difficult time. I would encourage you to be very cautious of anything that the mainstream media puts out. Ask yourself, do you really think that President Trump is a racist? Do you really think that so many conservatives that support Trump are racist? Do you really think that race is that big of an issue? Or is this an issue that's being driven by the mainstream media to divide us?
And I said that in my opening, and I will say it again. You know that white supremacy and white nationalism ranks nowhere near the top of the issues that are facing Black America. And the reason that you are bringing them up in this room is because it is an attempt to make the election all about race, as the Democrats
Not in my case, Ms. Owens. I'm sorry. Please do not characterize my motive.
Mr. Chairman, it's my time.
Yeah,
it's my time.
You've got your time, Mr. Menendez. I'll give you 3 more seconds.
Every 4 years, you bring up race, and you knew exactly what I meant when I said hilarious, and you just tried to do live what the media does all the time to Republicans, to our president, and to conservatives, which is you tried to manipulate what I said to fit your narrative, okay?
Why doesn't President Trump condemn racism?
We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. About the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
His own words and actions tell you why.
What are your views on the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists?
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question. There's a disgusting guy, puts a Ku Klux Klan hat on. He thinks he's cute. He's a disgusting guy. That is a disgusting guy. Really disgusting.
He's a racist.
So Donald Trump's a racist. That's all we hear from the left. Donald Trump's a racist. You know him for 40-plus years. Tell us.
I know him since 1973, Laura, and it's ridiculous. If it wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. This guy doesn't have an ounce of racism in him. He judges people on the merits. You know, the first night he took over Mar-a-Lago, I think it was '85, he said to me, you know, it's crazy that they don't admit blacks in any of the fancy clubs in Palm Beach. And I'm going to, I'm going to change that. I think he sued the city of Palm Beach because of it. In Haiti, there was a big storm in 1980. I raised a lot of medical supplies. I was borough president then in Manhattan, and we were going to send them to Haiti. But we didn't have a plane. I called Donald Trump, 1, 2, 3. He gave us a plane to take all the supplies over. The largest congregation in Queens, Reverend Flake's Church, they needed some money for some of the poor parishioners. I called a lot of our liberal friends in Manhattan. They couldn't care less. And what happened was I called Donald Trump, and right away he wrote a check. You know, black unemployment is the lowest it's been since 1972. And
billionaire business leader Robert Johnson, who supported Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election, told CNBC's Hadley Gamble the economy is doing great, and he gave President Trump a lot of that credit.
I think the economy is doing absolutely great, and it's particularly reaching into populations that heretofore have had very bad problems in terms of jobs, unemployment, and the opportunities that come with full employment. So African American unemployment is at its lowest level. I give President Trump, and I've said this before on Squawk Box, I give President a lot of credit for moving the economy in a positive direction that's benefiting a large number of Americans.
In fact, our children will grow up in a nation of miracles. But to achieve this future, we must enrich the mind and the souls of every American child. Education is the civil rights issue of our time. I am calling upon members of both parties to pass an education bill that funds school choice for disadvantaged youth, including millions of African American and Latino children. Janaya's mom, Stephanie, is a single parent. She would do anything to give her daughter a better future. But last year, that future was put further out of reach when Pennsylvania's governor vetoed legislation to expand school choice to 50,000 children. But, Janaya, I have some good news for you, because I am pleased to inform you that your long wait is over. I can proudly announce tonight that an Opportunity Scholarship has become available. It's going to you, and you will soon be heading to the school of your choice. Now I call on Congress to give 1 million American children the same opportunity Janaya has just received. Pass the Education Freedom Scholarships and Opportunities Act, because no parent should be forced to send their child to a failing government school.
There's a lot to be said for Donald Trump. Yeah, there's a lot, you know. He's a good guy. He is really a good guy. He's not a racist.
Yeah.
He's not. He plays to that crowd.
But he doesn't talk that way.
No.
Interesting.
Not at all.
Interesting. He's a showman, too. We can tell that. Mary King.
White supremacists wouldn't have freed Alice Johnson.
And the day that I got the news that President Trump had granted my clemency and given me a second chance in life was the best day of my life.
Would a racist white supremacist have posthumously pardoned boxer Jack Johnson, who was convicted of a racist crime? Something Obama was supposed to do but didn't, among other things?
In 1913, he was charged with taking his white girlfriend across state lines for immoral purposes.
So we thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Surrounded by boxing stars who pushed for his pardon in the Oval Office, Donald Trump finally cleared his name.
Well, on behalf of the White House, on behalf of the presidency, on behalf of this country, our country is a great country, and we have done something today that was very important because we righted a wrong.
White supremacists have deported a Nazi.
But this morning, he's been deported to Germany at the direct order of President Trump.
ABC News was there exclusively as ICE agents wheeled Yaakov Pauli from his New York home.
Sir, are you a Nazi?
You're watching a now frail 95-year-old man finally being deported for his alleged role as an armed guard at a Nazi death camp in Poland decades after his alleged involvement.
Sources tell ABC News the president became fixated on the case, ordering his new ambassador to Germany, Richard Grenell, to make Pauli's deportation a top priority after being sworn in.
Signed the Prison Reform First Step Act, which no CBC Democrats voted for.
President Trump today signed a sweeping criminal justice overhaul, which had rare bipartisan support. It shortens some drug sentences and expands rehabilitation programs for prisoners. As Jim Axelrod reports, it is all about second chances.
How significant do you think this is? By the way, one of your partners in working on this was Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner, whose father went to prison and who fought on this as hard as that. This is history. This is history. Right now, you're witnessing history on the floor of the U.S. Senate. There's a Christmas miracle underway. I want to say Hakeem Jeffries on the left, Jared Kushner, and Donald Trump on the right have brought together a coalition like I've never seen.
Made MLK's birthplace a national landmark.
Tonight, Bernice King is sharing her thoughts about President Trump's decision to redesignate the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site as a National Historic Park. The president signed that bill on Monday aboard Air Force One after landing in Atlanta for the College Football National Championship. It is one of the highest designations within the National Park Service.
Moments ago, you've got to come and watch this. This was actually a light moment. We just wanted to play it for you. Provide a little relief as we are covering all this serious news. You see a Marine alongside Marine One lost his cap. The president goes to help put it back in. It falls off again as he pats him on the side. He goes and he grabs it again. It's so windy, obviously, from the helicopter. He's trying to right the ship here and help out the Marine.
Would a racist white supremacist use his diplomatic power to get ASAP Rocky out of jail in Sweden?
On this ASAP Rocky case. ASAP Rocky is a situation in Sweden. Sweden's a great country. They're friends of mine, the leadership, and we are going to be calling. We'll be talking to them. We've already started. And many members of the African-American community have called me, friends of mine, and said, could you help? So I personally don't know ASAP Rocky, but I can tell you that he has tremendous support.
Yes. Dr. King, tell us a little bit. I know Donald Trump is out to improve the lives of every American, he says, but how has he helped the African-American community?
Well, early on during his campaign, in the beginning of his term, he said that the way you deal with racism, make sure everyone is safe, has gainful employment or their own business, and they're secure, they're safe, and they are enjoying America, and that's going to bring us all together. He says no matter what your skin color is, we bleed red. We're red-blooded Americans. So in his perspective, you serve everybody the same way without bias and all of that. And so I believe that perspective, bringing jobs back to America from overseas, dropping that unemployment rate, rising the employment rate and opportunities, business opportunities and all of that.
But the real issue for me, and then I said this on the interview you just showed, for African Americans, the trend continues to be favorable. The more African Americans have entered the workplace in the last cycle, more African American women are getting hired in the workplace, and the unemployment rate has drifted downward.
Historical levels.
Yeah.
I watch some of these savants on some of those other channels on occasion, and I wonder, where are they getting their facts? What would they like this president to do that he's not doing? He is actually achieving. He's not a rhetorician. He is not trying to impress with a bloviation, as some presidents have.
Correct.
He is just getting it done for America.
And he's exactly right. And he's also confronting the illegal immigration crisis and talking about that finally, which negatively impacts the black community directly. Low-wage workers, young black men are impacted the most when these illegal immigrants come in and do the jobs for lower wages. And not doing what Hillary Clinton did and said she had hot sauce in her bag or throwing Jay-Z and Beyonce concerts. Okay, he's telling the truth and saying, hey, black community, what do you have to lose? They have destroyed your communities with the welfare system. They have broken down the black family. What do you have to lose? The answer for everybody watching at home is absolutely nothing. Thank you, President Trump, for all you are doing for black America.
The first time in my life, Sean Hannity viewers, that I will be voting Republican. Right on your TV program. First time in my life.
For Donald Trump.
For Donald Trump. Period.
Larry,
End of story.
I use the term I've Hannitized people, right? I don't know. We have to say.
Please. Let me point out one thing. I'm asking every Democrat to do your research on Richard Russell and Robert Byrd. Robert Byrd, who Clinton and Biden eulogized, was a Klan member. That means he was anti-Catholic, anti-Jew, and anti-black. You have to leave the Democratic Party.
Leo.
Get out of there.
All right. Powerful.
And Leo, not just a Klan member, Leo. He was a recruiter. He was a Kliegel. He recruited others. He wasn't just your regular run-of-the-mill Klan guy. He was an executive. Yeah.
Don't let the Democratic Party trick you, please.